are stunned. Dribble drive kick. 10 seconds to go. Here comes the play. Pittman at the free throw line. Jumper. They are riding a Cinderella wave. 67, 64, 4 seconds left. You don't like the foul, remember. Ivy for the tie. Off the rim, and it's over. This miracle run continues for Steve. You believe it? For just the second time ever, a 16 beats a 1. Here we go.
Final play. 2.8 seconds to go. Fears will inbound. It's Walker. Walker at half court. Across. Taken away. Whoa. And an early season stunner in East Lansing. James Madison shocks the Spartans 79-76. Michigan State falls at home in overtime.
And Kevin, this was not a fluke. James Madison was in control of this game for the majority.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Cinderella Slippers Podcast. Gosh. Where do I start? I'm your host, Braydyn Bear-Lents, by the way. Where do I start? This is going to be recorded for 2 times. Once on Tuesday and another time on Friday. There was just so much that happened yesterday. I wanted to dive straight into the pool and actually give you a lot of insight as to my thoughts on last night. Oh my God, man. What a night was last night. And if you are wondering, it's Tuesday, November 7th. What a night. Just what a night. 2 crazy upsets. Blowout after blowout after blowout. And even more upsets. Or the name of the game last night, but there were 2. And I know we're diving into Division 1 today. But on Friday, we will talk more about the other matchups that happened throughout the week. Division 2, Division 3, NAIA, all that. And even some Division 1 stuff going into next week. But I'm specifically talking about 2 games today that happened this week. Well, boy. And wow. What a night last night. We expect to see the same probably again tonight. And boy, hasn't it been fun to just wait and see that college basketball is back, and now it's crazy to me that yes, it's back, but you get the same Cinderella stories that you've seen from years gone by. And let me tell you something, James Madison University. How you guys played last night was absolutely fantastic. Fantastic! How you guys played against the Michigan State Wolverines. I can't believe I just said Michigan State Wolverines. I'm getting Michigan and Michigan State all mixed up. I meant to say the Michigan State Spartans. Man, it describes the mood today. Michigan State Spartans. And they come in as the number 4 seed in the country. And they walk out as one of, if not the weakest teams I have ever seen play in the last quarters of action. It was hard fought. It was really for the taking. But at the end, what does Tom Izzo deserve when someone's going to be dancing right next to him during the handshake line, which is supposed to be the most respectful period of a basketball game, to end the game, shake hands, say good game, say you tried your best, and then move on. But my gosh, look at this. If you look at the field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, James Madison was so much better on 3. They were so much better on the 3-point line compared to Michigan State. It's just honest. It's just This game was something else the whole night. And how the heck James Madison, the Dukes of James Madison, were able to hold on. Terrence Edwards Jr. with 24 points, 24 points, 5 field goals made, 2 3-points made, and 41 minutes of action. Him and TJ Bickerstaff, my God. They were something else. That defense was really something else. And I'm just saying, James Madison, this is only week 1. This is like Stephen F. Austin against Duke. I knew we would see something like that last night. I think I mentioned it on yesterday's podcast. But I mentioned it then. And it was just, it's just so crazy. It's nuts to even think that, yeah, Michigan State was doing better at points, worse at points, and then when they went into overtime, they just completely fell apart. But they could have won this game. Simply put, they could have won this game. And Michigan State had all the tangibles necessary to win the game. With a few seconds left, there was a lot of stuff that happened. But for James Madison to completely humiliate East Lansing like that is probably one of the biggest Cinderellas. If this was March, it would be a humongous story. It would make headlines around the world. And this was just your regular conference matchup game. And I'm just saying that if you read on here, what I put in my notes, this is actually from the James Madison newsletter that I get. And it said the win marks James Madison's highest ranked victory ever. And just the second top 25 victory for the Dukes, joining their 1992 triumph against Cal. And that sounds like that was the last team that had won against them. But boy, just what a night. And that's one of the games I wanted to bring up first, because this was in the Big Ten. This was a humongous upset. This was earth-shattering for Michigan State, but they need to get humbled. You know another team that needs to get humbled? We're going to go to women's basketball now. Or we're going to go to LSU. What the frick happened to LSU last night? What happened? Duh. How'd you lose to the Colorado Buffaloes? Give me my guys John D music, baby. You know we bringing that swagger back to women's basketball, baby. Give me my guys John D music. Okay. Girls, they just came, yeah. Girls, they just came, yeah. Girls, they gotta come, yeah. Here we go again. I hope to God this doesn't get on some sus compilation what I just said. I wasn't meaning it like that. I was meaning these girls in Colorado just absolutely destroyed LSU. It was so crazy. It was so crazy last night. Oh my God. What is it with Deion Coach Prime Sanders? What is it with them? What is it with Shadir? What is it with Milo? What is it with the Sanders family? Isn't this a bit crazy to me that this whole college landscape, and when we think of Colorado now, we're thinking of Deion Coach Prime Sanders just out of basketball realms? It's the story of sports. It's like the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift story, except this involves a guy that's been retired for over 40 years out of the league. And this guy can still play. But, my God. Totally blown out. Haley Van Lith looked ridiculous. She looked crazy. Angel Reese, where was she? Where was Angel Reese? Where was Van Lith? Where was that number 1 team that was going to win back-to-back titles? Where was that at last night? Where was that at? You brought in one of the best recruits in the nation, and you just completely get utterly blown out in Vegas, of no less. Now, you have to remember something. Last year, IU played at Vegas, and they played on a ballroom floor that looked like they just put a basketball floor at, like, what's the room? At the Indiana Memorial Union. Like, the showroom at the Indiana Memorial Union. It was a terrible location. Grace Berger got hurt, and it kind of deterred her season, but she was able to come back later on. But to actually have it in a basketball floor broadcasted on TNT, that was even bigger for women's basketball than the game last season. Last season was embarrassing. They should be ashamed of themselves for what they did last year. So they really wanted to rebound and come back this year. I don't think Indiana's going to play there for a while over there. But my God, how the frick does anyone in Colorado upset a team that's the number 1 seed in the country? This is like Texas Tech, Texas. Absolutely. The game was a blowout. And Colorado just scored. I mean, they just scored on these girls. And I even found out on here, I even wrote this down, it broke national TV attendance records. So, just like last season. My God, no. But Angel Reese looked bad. She looked bad. She looked terrible. I mean, her and that Haley Van Lith. Look at LSU's points. Their highest scorer had 17 points, 8 of 16 from the field goal range, and shot no free throws. But their highest scoring player for Colorado was Foreman at 27 points, 9 of 15, and 2 out of 2 in free throws. And let me see, I think I put down the assists on here as well. Angel Reese had the highest assists, I could say that right now. But my God, literally look at how many points. The third quarter, Colorado scored 25 points over LSU's 19. The second quarter, they scored 24 points on LSU's 16 points. And in the fourth quarter, it came a little close. But the final score, again, was 92-78. And yeah, LSU, down goes number 1. That's all I have to say on that is down goes number 1. And if you look at the win probability, it got higher after the second quarter. Because you just knew, Colorado just played their absolute tails off last night. They played well. They played smooth. But if you look at LSU, there's a lot of patches that need to be worked on. Haley Van Lith, her 4 for 11 field goal range. 4 for 11. That's not the type of numbers you would have seen out of her last year in Louisville. And then you also have to consider Angel Reese, 6 of 15. 6 of 15! And Mariah, I think her name's Mariah Williams, 8 of 16. Morrow, 2 of 9. Johnson, 1 of 3. Only made 1 whole 3-point shot. That's a junior college number, folks. That's a junior college number. Compared to some of these other girls, look at this. There is one girl that was perfect off the bench for LSU. Or not really LSU, but look at this. All the shooters, they did not look great. But there were points where, LSU absolutely could have taken advantage, but they got completely humiliated that yesterday. Wow. They were just really humiliated, and what an embarrassing performance for them. LSU, I believe their next opponent in the next few weeks is going to be Queens in North Carolina. That should be a blowout. If they lose that game, I'm not even going to talk to you about LSU being ranked. Then they got Mississippi Valley after that. As I said, I'm going to get into the other games that are going to be happening tonight and my thoughts on that here in a minute. Kent State's next, and then some Southern Louisiana, I think that is, Texas Southern. They got a really, really, really easy schedule. Plus 2 games against Niagara. I almost said Viagra on that, but Niagara. But, my God. They just got destroyed last night. Defending national champions, I casted my doubts. After seeing that last night. Because it's embarrassing. Just to first of all say it. But it's also something you could build from. It's something you can rebound from. And it's something you can really put back on. And an assist as well. To close that thought, I'm not doubting LSU not being the national champs. But I am trying to say they'll do some good things this year. They might not be great. Got their biggest matchup this season is against Virginia Tech on November 30th, which is actually my grandfather's birthday, the late grandfather's birthday. Biggest college basketball fan I've ever known. And it is very unhopeful, but also promising later. It's only one game. I mean, I don't know why I'm casting doubts right now, but it's only one game. They can rebound. They can put the back against the wall, and they could fight back. Haley Van Lit's a strong player, so is Angel Reese. But this cocky attitude that they've had since winning the championship, I've really not liked. And Caitlin Clark has been getting all the public's respect. Because this is, in a lot of ways, I'm going to say it, it's a lot like it's like if Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark were playing back in the mid-60s. It's like the all-black girl who is defensive and opinionated. She's going to get shut out by the white girl that is doing way better than her, shooting, rebounding, who also has a different personality, and the media galvanizes on that stuff. We as black people don't get a lot of respect in the media. Anyway, so it's like Warren Moon or something like that against, I don't know, Peyton Manning. And it's just, who is the public going to galvanize more on that? Anyways, what a discussion about those two games. And I didn't provide much insight for the Michigan State-James Madison game because I couldn't find it in my notes. But I would say both squads, they could rebound, they could come back. Don't give up hope on LSU, and do not give hope up on the Michigan State Spartans because they are still the best team out of the Big Ten. They are really good, and it could win the championship for them this year. They'll make an Elite Eight run. I guarantee you that. Coming up next, we're going to be talking more about the other matchups that will be going on tonight, Tuesday, November 7th through Friday. So I'm going to talk more about that. We're going to come back after this word from your local Italian station. We'll be right back after this on the Cinderella Slippers Podcast.
Sarà perché ti amo, un'emozione che cresce piano piano, stringimi forte, stammi più vicino, se ci sto bene, sarà perché ti amo, e vola vola si fa, se più tanto si va, e vola vola che fa, il mondo è manco perché se l'amore non c'è, basta una sola canzone, col palco funziona, le mani propri, vola vola si fa, se più tanto si va, e vola vola che fa, il mondo è manco se l'amore non c'è, basta una sola canzone, per far confusione, fuori e dentro di te.
All right, everyone, welcome back. That was actually a pretty short commercial break for what will be a very short show. I wanted to bring up those two upsets as they were probably the most dynamic upsets in college basketball. But in terms of other games that happened last night, we had some really big blowouts, to say the least. Purdue upsetting or beating the crap out of Samford 98-45. Zach Edey with 16 points and Jaden Campbell had 11 points for the Bulldogs. And, of course, Zach Edey, we all know it. We hate him. I hate him. I hate everything about him. I hate everything about that team and expect them to lose to Northern Kentucky at the end of the season because this team is not, if they're number one again, they're not. I pray to God, if Purdue's going to win this year to avoid the 15 seed upset, it's about really utilizing your big men. Really utilizing them because they barely utilized them against St. Peter's in 2021, and then they barely utilized them again last year against Fairleigh Dickinson. So we'll see about the rest of the season, but I hope that God, being an IU fan, boiler down, that we can beat them 2 times on the road this year. Once at home and once on the road. Duke, absolutely, as I said yesterday, destroyed Dartmouth 92-54. Kyle Fabedowski actually had 25 points in that game. And then Kansas, the number 1 seed in the country, defeating North Carolina Central 99-56. Not much to talk about with that. Marquette beat Northern Illinois, the number 5 seed in the country, beat Northern Illinois 92-70. Connecticut, the Yukon Huskies, defending national champs, absolutely destroyed Northern Arizona, a really good cross-country school, by the way, 95-52. Houston, now we don't know about this Houston team this year, but I don't have a lot of luck in them. I don't have a lot of hope in them. I don't think they're going to be anything like they were last year. However, Kelvin Sampson knows how to win a game with Emmanuel Sharp's 20 points as they upset and beat UL Monroe 84-31 in a huge beatdown. The biggest beatdown of the night was probably Arizona and Morgan State. Arizona put up 122 points versus Morgan State's 59 points. Kylan Boswell had 18 points to finish out the night, and Kristen Oliver had 12 points for Morgan State. What a blowout! Not like Tennessee and Tennessee Tech 80-42 last night as well. Miami completely downed. New Jersey Institute of Technology 101-60. The Nerds go down once again. Arkansas defeats Alcorn State 93-59 in Khalif Battle, who I expect to be a really good player this year. Very top pick in the NBA draft lottery with 21 points. Texas A&M 78-46 over Texas A&M Commerce. They beat them last night. Kentucky completely blows out New Mexico State, who made a tournament 2 years ago, 86-46. San Diego State last year, one of the runner-ups in last year's national championship, defeating Cal State Fullerton 83-57. Jaden Legdee had 27 points. And for Cal State, DJ Bruton had 13 points. Texas 88 over, and I will not get this word right, Incarnate Word. A team that I think last year, I think they might have had hopes of going to the NCAA tournament, but they didn't actually go. They lose to Texas 88-56. North Carolina defeats Radford 86-70. Last night was a big game over in Vegas besides Colorado getting upsetting LSU. Kansas State last season, who had a great team, did not look great last night against USC. USC looked like the better team. And Boogie Ellis had 24 points in that game along with someone else. I can't think of their name right now, but I will say this, Kansas State did not look fresh or pure last night. They're not going to be ranked. They're not going to be good. They're going to be back to normal Kansas State realms. Anyways, USC won 82-69. Villanova absolutely destroyed American University 90-63. Isn't that the score? They had like one of the top shooters that scored more points than Wilt Chamberlain. It's just crazy. This was a very intriguing story back in the 70s. And the story was never covered because the school was about to shut down or something. I think the school's in Hawaii. It might be talking about something else. It might be International University or something like that. But all I know is that I think it was American. But they were actually in the other realms of Hawaii. Really good ball club back then. Had a top shooter that went to the Marines. And he now has a great career overseas, or at least they did show that. Morehead State loses to Alabama 105-73. Illinois beat Eastern Illinois 80-52. IUPUI beat Spalding. With a close win, Jalen Cornter had 20 points with the 70-63 win. Hofstra defeated St. Joseph's, Long Island. Never heard of that school in my life. Then defeated them 101-48 in a big blowout. Troy beat Fort Lauderdale 92-47. Stephen F. Austin defeat North American 96-68. Prairie View A&M. Some of the HBCUs I'll be talking about this year in an episode or two. They win 89-66 over Texas Christian. Georgia and Oregon was an interesting game last night. It wasn't a football game, actually. It was the basketball game. Oregon wins 82-71. DeFallon Dante had 16 points, where Jabari Abdur Rahim had 18 points to finish that game off. And I'm not going to read much of the other scores from that game, but I'm going to find some that intrigue me. Yale beat Vassar. Never heard of that school before with a 102 to 53 win. And then, wow, look at that. Ryder absolutely destroyed Immaculata. 113 to 67. Wow. A close win was DeQuincy and Cleveland State, two really decent teams at the best of their standings in their conference. DeQuincy wins by a 2-point margin of 79 to 77. And then Princeton beat Rutgers in what is the first ever football game ever played was against these two teams back in 1867. Princeton, like they did in the past for so many years until Rutgers beat them the very first time and the very last time. In basketball, however, Princeton won 68 to 61. And my thought on Princeton is they're going to be a good team this year. They're going to probably be Elite 8 status. They're going to be that good. They got a lot of guys coming back like Matt Aloko with 21 points. He, of course, was not one of the big dudes last year, but boy, they were such a great team last year. They played Creighton in the Elite Eight. It was something else. It was something to behold. Seeing Princeton, and I correctly picked them right. I almost got a perfect bracket out of it. And so, let's see. Liberty beat Mid-Atlantic Christian 103 to 43. Northern Florida upset Coastal, beat Coastal Georgia 92 to 55. Colgate beat Brown in a close 72 to 70 victory. Braden Smith had 17 points. Raquinho Lilly Jr. had 21 points. Ohio State beating Oakland 79 to 73. Ohio State's not going to be that good of a team this year in the Big Ten. I don't see that. Even a Big Ten title will be in their name. They're probably going to be 13th or 14th, but their women's team is going to be really good this year, and I really think they're going to be dominant. Another dominant victory for Pittsburgh as they beat North Carolina A&T 100 to 52. Jeez. And as for the Colorado men, we'll bring in 3 more scores, and I'm going to talk about tomorrow. Colorado beat Towson 75 to 57 in an overtime victory. Fordham upsets Wagner 68 to 64, and Wagner was a good team last year. And then I'll do 2 more scores. St. Peter's and Seton Hall. As you may recall, the coach for Seton Hall was once the coach at St. Peter's. In a rematch, Seton Hall gets the better shot, 70 to 59, and St. Peter's, as I will write in my newsletter, St. Peter's is one of my favorites to not do really good, but to maybe go to around a 64, maybe even a first 4. I would be lucky to see them in a first 4 this year, but we will have to wait and see on that because I think, St. Peter's, they look really, really fresh out the gate. Just mean they didn't look fresh that time, but they'll look fresh this season, but they're not going to be up to their stature that they were back in 2022. Western Kentucky beat Kentucky Wesleyan 90 to 64. You have to remember Kentucky Wesleyan defeated Louisville in an exhibition match recently. And what an upset. What an upset against Louisville. I think I mentioned now in the very first podcast we had. Another team I see going to the tournament this year is Northern Kentucky, but they lost to Middle Tennessee State 74 to 57. And the final score, let's go way down the rabbit hole here. UCLA defeats St. Francis 75-44. And I'll do one more. I know I keep on saying that. But Washington, boy, those Huskies are really good in football with Michael Penix. They're even better in basketball as they beat Bellarmine, a team that has one of the best offenses ever in collegiate basketball, by the score of 91 to 57. Corin Johnson had 25 points. Abesh Wieland had 14 points. Tonight's games as of Tuesday, November 7th, I'm actually going to list off maybe 5 or 10. Here are some of the big ones. Indiana playing Florida Gulf Coast. Corvette for the TikTok kid. He's going to run out of there making all these TikTok dances, but Indiana's going to win. They're going to win. This team's doing it for night. This team's going to win. No question, no doubt about that. That's at 6:30, which is actually, as of right now, it's 3:41 Eastern. It is going to be in 3 hours. So it's going to be on the Big Ten Network. Some of the other big games. A big game for sure tonight. Georgetown and Lemoyne College in DeWitt, New York. Georgetown, I see them winning, having no problems. Iowa plays North Dakota, no problems with that. Iowa wins, even though they've gotten close before in both football and basketball. I'd be shocked to see them in both. A lot of other intriguing matchups. One matchup will be on ESPN at 9 p.m. tonight. It's Baylor and Auburn. Auburn's not ranked, but don't let them sleep. Don't sleep on these Auburn Tigers. They're going to play Indiana if we beat UConn. If we don't beat UConn, we're going to play them. I think it's in Las Vegas here in the next few weeks. Creighton will play Florida A&M, and that's going to be at 9 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. Michigan plays what will be the easiest matchup of their time against UNC Asheville at 8:30 on the Big Ten Network. Let's see. There's not a lot of intriguing matchups that I could tell, but a lot of the three matchups were the Indiana, Michigan, Creighton, and Baylor games. Ball State plays Goshen. Now you gotta understand, Goshen is. I didn't even know Goshen had a college. Wow, I had no idea. Is Goshen a D2? Wow, I did not know. Yeah, Goshen is a very big or very small city in Indiana. Let's see. They are in Division 2. Unbelievable. I mean, wow. Oh, they're in NAIA, which is like Division 2. It is Division 2 in the same point as you make the argument it's not Division 1. But yeah, Ball State plays Goshen at 7 p.m. on ESPN+. Tickets cost $25. You want a ticket, I think it's really easy to find over there in Muncie. But Ball State, I think they'll win against Goshen. Just not much knowledge on that game for sure. But I do think Ball State is going to win that one easily. St. John's plays Stony Brooks at 7 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. Appalachian State against Oakland City at 6:30, along with LaSalle and Drexel will also be playing at 6:30 on ESPN+. Eastern Kentucky will play West Virginia Tech, which sounds like the name of a community college. I'm not trying to make fun out of these schools. It's just what I've noticed. Vanderbilt will play Presbyterian, and Presbyterian, don't ever sleep on them. They're always one of those teams that are always going to go 15-11 and probably advance more in their playoff, but I think Vanderbilt's going to win that one fairly. I don't see Vanderbilt doing that well this year. Some other matchups, I'll list three more. Weber State plays against Benedictine in Arizona. Montana plays Northwest Indian at 9 p.m. Both games are at 9 p.m. And DePaul plays Purdue Fort Wayne, who upset IU back in 2016. San Diego State plays UC Irvine. Loyola Marymount plays against Westcliff. Wow, I've never heard of that school before, ever. Nevada plays Sacramento State, and Jackson State plays Pacifica. And then going into Wednesday, being tomorrow, we're going to have yet again another slate of cupcake matchups. Bryant plays Fisher College. Maine plays Maine. Prisque is the Isle. And that's going to be interesting. Of course, we know that Florida Atlantic's going to play Loyola Chicago in the Barstool matchup at 7 p.m. No network has been listed for that one. Cornell plays SUNY Mooresville. Morehead State plays Shawnee State. Delaware plays Wilmington. Cleveland plays Defiance University. I wonder where Defiance is at. I love the city of Defiance. I love Ohio. Defiance College. Oh my gosh, it's in Defiance, Ohio. Unbelievable. I didn't know that. Wow. Sorry to just discover that on the show, but wow, I didn't notice that they even had a very small college. I need to, as I said, I covered Division 2 and Division 3, and that was one of the schools I didn't even know that was on the list. And can they do it again? Fairleigh Dickinson plays Penn State Brandywine. 7 p.m. No network listed for that one. Syracuse plays Kansas. Long Island plays Fisk. That's literally the name of the school, is Fisk. Must be a Division III school or something like that. Lipscomb plays Drake, who won the Missouri Valley Conference last season. South Dakota State, who I see playing in a big tournament run, will play against Dakota Wesleyan. Another 2 big matchups are tomorrow. UNLV plays Southern, and Santa Clara plays Utah Tech. Thursday, and we're going to wrap it up to Friday. These are more of the Week 2 matchups that are going on in the NCAA. Baylor plays against John Brown. Michigan State plays against Southern Indiana. Tarleton State plays against Florida International. If I said Charleston, it's Tarleton. Tarleton State. Robert Morris plays Point Park. Michigan State plays Southern Indiana, USI. That one will not be interesting at all. You see a lot of Lagodi boys represent Lagodi and Montgomery in Southern Indiana. Very small school. Michigan State should win that one handily. If they don't, I will be embarrassed. Stonehill plays Army, and Army's going to play against Indiana on Sunday of next week. Let's see. Evansville plays the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy. I've never heard. Okay, that should be interesting. I think if you're going to be cheering for the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy, I will be happy to say it. I think if they pull off the upset, it'd be the biggest one in conference history. North Park University, shout out to Delaney Lynch, will play against Southern Illinois University Edwardsville. USC will play against Cal State Bakersfield. Denver plays Cal Poly at 9, along with the USC game will also be at 9. That will be on the Pac-12 network, and Denver will not have a broadcast, I don't think. St. Mary's will play New Mexico. UC Santa Barbara will play Portland State. UC Santa Barbara, I think, made a tournament last year, and I think lost to Baylor in the first round. San Francisco, shout outs, and I'm going to have to post about this. Have to bring that to my attention because there's this player at San Francisco, Mongolian Mike. Probably I'm friends with his dad, and he's a really good person. Mongolian Mike is one of the most special stories in college basketball. He's got a pure gift. I will tell you guys right now, if you want to go follow this account on Twitter, follow UF San Francisco Mongolian fans. I post a lot on there. I haven't recently because I don't keep track of their sports, and I need to really start keeping up the notifications on that because I run probably one of the biggest channels in America right now. So they're going to play tomorrow at 10 p.m. on ESPN Plus. And to wrap up the night, you got San Jose State and Bethesda University in Northern Kentucky and Washington. Now let's go to one more date. That's Friday. That should be a big amount of games. And it looks like, some of the big matchups next week are Duke and Arizona. I think that is on Friday or Saturday. But as I said, I might talk more about those matchups. But they're going to play on Friday. Never mind. They're playing on Friday at 7 p.m. Duke and Arizona, one of the big matchups of the year. I talked about it on the last episode. Purdue will play Morehead State, the number 3 seed Purdue. Miami plays UCF in a classic Florida matchup. It will be on ESPN Plus and the ACC network. And then Kentucky plays Texas A&M Commerce on Friday. Rutgers plays Boston University at 7 p.m. No network was included for that one. And Villanova will play Lemoyne again. I think another team's playing against Lemoyne, and that team is Villanova. Florida State plays Kennesaw State. McNeese plays the College of Biblical Studies. Let's go College of Biblical Studies. Why not? I think it will be a blowout, but you got to love these small schools. I absolutely love these small schools. They're what makes college basketball great, and if one of them could upset them, that would be fantastic. After playing Indiana, Florida Gulf Coast is going to play Ave Maria. They're going to play them at 7 p.m. The Citadel will play against Boston College at 7 p.m. Oregon State and Troy will play at that time. George Mason and Austin Peay will play at that time. Hofstra and Princeton as well. Maryland and Davidson. Cincinnati and Detroit Mercy. Abilene Christian and NC State. And then one of the last matchups I see on here is Pittsburgh and Binghamton. Akron will play Southern Miss at 7. And Penn State Lehigh, 7:30. Kansas will play Manhattan. Arkansas will play Gardner-Webb. Alabama will play Indiana State. Illinois will play Oakland. Iowa will play Alabama State. LSU will play against Nichols. Colorado will play against Grambling. And then to wrap up this list, Marquette will play Rider. And UCLA will play Lafayette. As some of the top games I'm looking at, I think it's going to be all wins for one team and losses for the other. But yeah, shout out to Defiance. I'll have to buy some t-shirts or something, man. That is incredible. If I could go to a tournament, that'd be awesome as well. Whew, a lot of scheduling to talk about. We had a lot of schedules to discuss, and I think it's really common for me to just start getting into some crazy statistics over teams or talk about my favorites. But that actually does it for our podcast. I know we didn't talk we talked about some Division 2 and some Division 3, but we didn't actually get into them with the full perspective that I wanted to get into the perspective of. And so as a matter of fact, we're going to talk about that on Friday. And expect the podcast to have a guest in the next week or two. I'm getting that planned out. So that does it for me. I hope you all have a great day watching basketball, great week. It's the most wonderful time of the year, folks. And if you're not watching any of these games, I'm sorry, but you are missing out. You're missing out on what makes college basketball one of the purest sports. Next week, I will talk about, actually the week after this one, and going into Thanksgiving break. I'll do a lot of episodes on Thanksgiving break, maybe 2 or 3, maybe even 2. I'm not for sure yet. But again, there will be no shows on December 11th through the 15th, and there might not be any shows the week before that, maybe 1. But those numbers will get very reduced because I got finals week at IU. That is coming up in 4 weeks. And that's huge for me because I really need to get these grades up to stay in the school. That I will discuss. As I said, I got dismissed last year for being sick. So, just trying to rebound and come back. Took a lot of courses at Ivy Tech. I'm shocked they're not even competing in college basketball. But that does it for me. I mean, there will be no episodes those 2 weeks. Maybe 1 on the week of the 4th through the 11th. But not during the week of finals. And we'll be back to our fully regularly scheduled programming that following week. So thank you everyone for supporting the channel. Subscribe to the newsletter if you have not already. It's on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your place where you can read and watch anything you want about college basketball and Cinderella upsets. Guest pickers will be coming soon. But all in all, I hope you guys have a great day. Have a great day and enjoy some college basketball. Don't miss out on all this. It's really fun to watch them right now. Anyway, guys, have a good one. See you later. Bye.
Well, I've been doing fine on the Houston time. And when the sun sets on the Pocono Bay, well, from way up where the Red River flows on down to the Rio Grande. Well, I was born a native Texican, and I'm proud to say that I am. Yeah, I like Texas. Well, ain't it fine here? I like to pick my guitar down a Lucan bar and drink that Shiner-Bock beer. Yeah, I like Texas.
This episode was from the Braydyn Bear Podcast Network.